Sir, it's your boy Keiz Ali. You got to lock back into the Champs Row. Across the screen, the far side of the screen, you got Mr. Flowers. How you doing, Mr. Flowers?
We are back. I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good, because we got somebody in the building. We got somebody
legend.
in the building.
Young legend.
A legend.
Huh?
I mean, like, one of the main reasons I went to PWX back in the day.
For sure. For sure.
The entrances, everything was amazing. We have Darius Lockhart, the Revolutionary. Darius Lockhart in the building. How you doing, Mr. Lockhart?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the intro too. That was a good intro. I appreciate that.
No problem. Well, man, I'm gonna tell you, we're here to talk about ASE Wrestling. We're here to talk about your brainchild. And before we get started, I just personally want to say, I seen the link, and probably within 7 minutes, I bought 2 front row tickets. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know. I didn't know who was on the card. I didn't give a damn. I seen your name. I seen your post, and I'm like, 2 tickets, please.
That's sure. I appreciate that immensely. That means the world to me. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I saw a bunch of people, got front few tickets, and I appreciate everyone else who did the same. That was just that support means I can't even put a word on it. I appreciate that, man.
No problem. For the people that don't know what ASE Wrestling is, we want to give you the floor to plug the event and give you the moment at the beginning to tell them all the good stuff that they need to know before we dive into these questions today, man.
Absolutely. Well, I am Darius Lockhart. I am presenting ASE on December 1st at the Grady Cole Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is it's a pro wrestling show that is not just a pro wrestling show. It's kind of a step forward within the culture for a lot of people, in the culture of pro wrestling and the culture of just people in general, community. This is a show built by Charlotte for Charlotte, and for really everybody. It features 6 wrestling matches, a live performance by Lute from Dreamville, just kick off the show. And we just gave out a lot of free tickets to a bunch of kids, so it's gonna be awesome. Free, family, adults, everyone's free to come through. It's a mixture of a lot of different demographics, but we love to have community, and that's what we really thrive on. So that's what this is built in, rooted in love, and to platform people who really need to be platformed. So yeah, that's what ASE is at this point.
Gotcha. Now, and also before we go any deeper, can we tell them how great you are? Can we go over some of your career highlights, where you've been, man? I'm a fan. I'm a fan out of it. Can you tell them how great you are, my friend?
Oh man, well, okay, so I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. Been wrestling since I was 17 years old. Had my first official match at 18 against Cedric Alexander, WWE's famous. Me and he was one of my mentors growing up. Coming into pro wrestling, growing up in pro wrestling. But the first few years was just cutting teeth in North Carolina until I decided I wanted to push myself. I went overseas to England for a little while, trained there, wrestled there, kind of developed into who I identify with today as the Revolutionary. It's kind of, just an extension of myself. Really, it is just me. It's just really just me being real. And the Revolutionary just we kept trucking through 2016, 17, 18, started racking up some titles, some buzz, some good matches. I've wrestled people, Shane Strickland, we held it down at PWX and MJF and the world champs and all that stuff like that. I've been in the ring with a lot of great people, extended to myself, through a good career. Had some buzz, really. Actually, I got injured in 2020, which is oddly enough. But I threw over that year, ended up coming back from a pec tear, debuting at GCW, came back For the Culture, did my thing against Brian Keith, got some buzz at NWA, All Elite Wrestling, places like that. And I just kind of wanted to take a step away. I need to take a step away from myself. And that's where we kind of are here now. It's been a year and a half later after my sabbatical. And I came back with ASE because I felt like it was necessary, it was needed. And it was time for me to put my money where my mouth is in terms of fighting a good fight, I suppose.
Gotcha. Yeah. Avery, what you got for him, Mr. Flowers?
I'm also a huge fan. No, I was digging through my closet earlier, and I have like an autograph from like 2018.
Oh wow!
And I have you guys PWX, you and Elijah Evans.
Ah, real one.
You guys have a shirt. I brought the shirt.
What I love? I wasn't doing a lot of interviews, the past few years, just a personal choice. And coming back, I've had to put ASE on my back, but I've gotten to talk to a lot of people that, you know, we're there for those things. And that's what I'm really grateful for, because, you know, I don't really get to talk about the Elijah Evans stuff a lot. I don't get to talk about those moments. And so to be able to interact with folks that really appreciate it, it really means a lot to me. So I appreciate you know, purchasing the shirt in real time back then, being there at the event. That was a lot more, that moment was a lot more self-made than you would believe. But yeah, thank you for that long-term support. Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Yeah, no problem. So, I guess my question, one of my first questions is, how did growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, influence your passion for wrestling and your decision to start a wrestling company?
That's real. So, growing up in Charlotte, you know, it's funny. I didn't grow up a wrestling fan. Not until I was about really in my early teens, like 12, 13, 14 maybe. But that's when I really kind of discovered it. And well, I knew what it was when I was a kid. All my friends liked it. All the older kids I hung out with. I'm an only child. So I was always hanging out with older kids and things like that. And, you know, trying to just understand whatever. And everyone had their Eddie Guerrero toys and John Cena toys. And I was always told about how cool these guys were. And then, you know, I kind of felt like I thought I knew what wrestling was back then. So I wasn't interested. But 12 years old, I saw it and it clicked. And, you know, then I realized the history that came with it, you know, how historical the ground. I'll try to learn everything I could about wrestling. I found out like the roots in Charlotte that the NWA had, the roots in Charlotte that, you know, Crockett Promotions and everything like that, how expansive the history and the culture was here in North Carolina. And once I wrapped my head around it, I realized that if I was going to start a career, and more importantly, start a career in North Carolina, there's a pantheon I unfortunately, like, I guess I automatically have to answer to. Because now you're a North Carolina wrestler. If you know, have that name on you, if you make something of yourself, you are now touted as you're from North Carolina. You're in there, the group with, you know, Ricky, with Rick, with Dusty, with Cedric, with, you know, all these folks. So now it's something to answer to. But that informed a certain standard in myself that I wanted to hold myself up to. I wanted to be a wrestler that matters, a wrestler that made good work by the standard of NWA and the classic legendary moments North Carolina has grown its reputation on. I wanted to be able to live to that moment, but also understanding of why that structure, why that format worked, and why I see a lot of that old school, perfect, you know, pro wrestling, that Southern thing that got everyone so energetic, so energized, and got under people's skin, everything like that. It made it real to folks. A lot of that's missing. So I felt like when I'm creating something like ASE, I don't necessarily want it to answer to pro wrestling, but it's influenced by what's come before it that I think the game is missing ultimately. So Charlotte's influenced a lot, you know, influenced me being here.
Now, my next question, and if you don't want to answer, or if it offends you in any way, I do apologize. But what are some challenges that you faced as a Black entrepreneur in the wrestling industry? And how did you overcome them?
Yeah, you know, we're pretty early into the entrepreneurship element of it. Well, in terms of running a company, but in terms of entrepreneurship as myself as the business, I've run into plenty, of course. There are people who, you know, everyone who's watched entertainment with an honest eye can tell you that there is across entertainment spectrum, there is only one at a time rule, right? So a lot of early on, I was fighting that thing in terms of, you know, being told to my face, you know, we generally don't book Black people, but because, you know, we usually don't book other Black people because we have Cedric, so that feeds this demographic. But you're different enough, so we'll bring you on. And I was like, I was 19 at the time when someone told that to me, and I was like, that's really, I don't like the way that sounded. You know what I mean? Like, and it really, you know, and as you're coming into manhood, you realize what racism really looks like, whether overt, covert. You know, as a kid, you're still amateur at things. You like to think everyone's equal, everyone's even, because we're in a different time period. But it's as you grow into manhood, you realize that this stuff is a lot more subliminal than you have to have a trained eye for it. So stuff like that. I remember there was one time a wrestling promotion had a sponsor, and I was about to win the title there at the promotion. And I remember the sponsor was about to say, hey, we think Darius is racist because he has the fist up and everything like that. So we are going to pull our sponsorship if you guys don't stop booking him. And the company stood beside me and they did not stop booking me. But things like that happen, you know. People telling me, you know, hey, maybe not wear that gear tonight. The one that says Black Lives Matter, maybe that's not so good. Here's one, you know, major, I won't even, you know, go too deep, but major companies have it's gotten back to me where it's the paraphrasing was, I would hire Darius enough. I would hire Darius because his wrestling is good enough. I would hire him on his ability alone. But because of the revolutionary stuff, we're a little icky about hiring him. So it's a lot of things like that happen to me. It just is, I hate to say this, but it is, but that's why ASE is necessary. People don't, want to get things or don't understand what a certain character is supposed to look like on screen when they're used to tropes, humiliation tropes, when they're used to, stereotypes and, things that we're used to seeing us in. But when you're trying to break out that box and create something fresh, something new, people aren't really conditioned on how to care for a character like mine. Even though it's very simple, just treat me like another wrestler. But when culture comes into it, people are uncomfortable by that. So it just it's my burden, but it's also not really a burden because I don't want to be those places that can't facilitate something that's real. It's something that people need. If I'm something that has to be suppressed, then I don't really want to be there. Yeah, but those are some of the things that have happened to me in my career. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
I know that's
wow. Oh shit.
Yeah. Life.
So kind of just to tie back in, because I did have like a question that we kind of didn't right now. I didn't know you wrestled overseas. For a time. That was kind of new information to me. Did you always have the same revolutionary? I don't want to say like gimmick because I think that's who you actually are as a person. You know what I mean? So, but were you always like that? Or did you start out being that in wrestling?
No. So I started off like everybody else, not knowing what to be. I was just Darius Lockhart. I was a guy in gear. I was a guy trying to have good matches, trying to find himself, trying to, impress people, try to get a job. You know what I mean? That was who I was. So I was just, generic heel. You need me to be a heel? I'll say something mean to the crowd. You need me to be a baby? I'll, kiss a baby on the way out. I was just a guy, but, my work was getting over. I was capable physically in the ring. So that got me where I was need to be. But I went through a very hard time. Just something I would rather not go into. But stuff that was detrimental to me, my psyche, and my development as a pro wrestler. And I felt that I kind of sunk into a depression, and it became very apparent to me in between the things that was going on in the world in terms of the Mike Browns and the Trayvons, everything like that at the same time. And then going into the wrestling, what happened in my career, I felt very unprotected. I felt very not taken care of. And I felt very expendable. What was going on at the time. And so I said, you know what? I got to get out of here. I was watching a lot of British wrestling at the time. I used my college's student exchange program and got over to England. Wow. So I started going to Manchester Metropolitan University for a semester. But in the meantime, I was walking up to the next city every week, really, to train with Marty Jones, who trained William Regal. So I found that he was city away, so I would walk there every week, and we'd go. And I remember I came back to PWX that summer, and in the meantime, while I was going, I'd grown out my hair, grown out the fro, But as I was there, because I was going through such a mental time, I was reading a lot more. I was already African Diaspora Studies student at UNCG, so I continued kind of my studies in my own time there, and listened to a lot of wrestling podcasts. It was very the best wrestlers are people with themselves the volume turned up to 10. You know what I mean? And I go, okay, what's about me that I really care about? And I've been looking for a way for my work to say something for a long time at that point, at least a long time to me. It'd been like a year, and that was long enough. So it was that it just kind of melted, and I found the revolutionary somewhere between that pain, trying to find my own superhero, trying to be the man that I think I needed at that time. Ended up being just that. So that was 2016. But it kind of developed my time overseas. It's very Jimi Hendrix in that fashion, but things work out like that.
For sure.
Gotcha, man. All right, so and with ASE Wrestling, I watched another one of your interviews, and you were saying that the reason why you started it was there were a lot of the same faces behind the scenes. And now that you're a new face behind the curtain, and you're etching your history in the stone, like what will it read? Like what do you want your company to be known for? I mean, of course, you got a long journey ahead of you. But as of right now, if we look back 10 years from now, what do you want your company to be known for?
I'd like it to be known for as a place for where people saw themselves genuinely, where people knew that they could go and not have to experience, secondhand humiliation or anything like that. And I like it overall to have a place where people came and had a good time. They enjoy the content. They enjoy the work. That's really what I want this to have at the end of the day.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So listen,
Mm-hmm.
this is I think this is Keys' question, but this is the question I wish I came up with because I didn't think about it until he said it, and then when he told it to me, I got very excited. So, will we introduce championships, tournaments, and will we have future events? Is this like a one and done? Are we gearing up to
yeah?
Let's have what are we doing?
I'm trying to buy a season pass, brother.
Season passes.
That was the one question on the docket I forgot to mention, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I can't let you guys know everything. You know what I'm saying? That is the one thing I forgot to say. I cannot let you guys know everything. Let's get past show 1 and we'll address.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I got to get y'all to show 1, you know, but you guys aren't the only ones. You know, I had an interview last Sunday where people were, when you guys coming to Detroit? When you guys coming to Chicago? And I'm like,
let's go.
But I get tweets like that all the time, which I love that there's energy for it. You know what I mean? But it's like, we got to touch down on show 1 first, y'all. Let me get that one out the way. We can address the bigger picture. But there is a bigger picture, and just know that I'm thinking about it. And if you guys, it's on your mind, trust me, I've thought about it 12 times over. So, you know.
I mean, season passes sound real good. I don't think any wrestling promotion has season passes. I'll buy a season pass. I'll buy my ticket for the year. I just want to put that.
Sound good. That does sound good. Idea. That sounds good. You know, we'll crawl. We'll see where we get there.
now, when it comes to ASE, will they have the traditional pro wrestling rules for matches, or will it be like a terminus where you have like a spin to those traditional rules?
So I'm a bit of a purist. Honestly, in terms of pro wrestling, I like simplicity. I think simplicity gets you far. I think in terms of this being a project that I also want to be very, what's the word people like to use? It has crossover appeal. I wanted to have a lot of crossover appeal. I feel like trying to reinvent the wheel doesn't really serve me. It's kind of having to get people to watch wrestling is hard enough. Sometimes, you know, but getting them to also learn it's not rules that they're used to, or even more new rules that if they become a fan, then they got to unlearn and think about, well, those rules. It's just a lot to kind of do. So I kind of want to start with traditional rules, but traditional in terms of there will be disqualifications and countouts. There will be, you know, pinfalls and submissions. Things do matter here. It is an old school wrestling company at the heart of it, but there's a lot around it to make it different. A lot of aesthetic, a lot of the way we'll do things and present things to you is different. But in terms of the rules, I haven't really spent too much time thinking outside the box because I just know what I enjoy out of pro wrestling. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, Mr. Flowers, you want to go through this match card, man? Because I know I'm excited about some of these matches. And there's people on the card that I haven't heard of before, but I've done my research. I've done my cage match and my Googles to go and find those matches for them. But I'm pretty sure there's people out there that may not know. So I think there's 6 matches. So Shy, I'm gonna do 1 or 2. You do 1 or 2. And what we want from you is to tell the fan that does not know about these guys what to expect in those matches. Are you cool with that?
Absolutely, I can do that.
All right. I know what to expect. I just want to hear what you got to say. Gresham and Carter. Gresham and Carter. What should people expect with that greatness right there, man? That duo right there.
If Jonathan Gresham versus Darius Carter, you should expect technical excellence first and foremost. That's the first thing that came to mind. It's you'll see, you know, I like to say talking to John Gresham whenever I have a conversation with him when we're training together, it's like taking a pro wrestling for dummy books out of my hand and giving me a college textbook. You know, Gresham, you know, just kind of builds on things and takes wrestling to a higher level, and you'll really start to see the sportsmanship, the nuance, the small details. These guys leave nothing out. They are pro wrestling experts. You'll see nothing but technical greatness out of these guys. And you'll see Darius trying to prove himself. Darius Carter trying to prove himself. And he's as dashly as they come. Darius Carter is just a villainous guy. I don't know. I booked him because he's good, not because I like him. but you'll see him probably, you know, probably get his hands dirty. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's a little bit of Randy Orton. He's a little bit of William Regal. He's a little bit of Stanley from Friday asking you to stay off the grass. You know what I mean? He's a little bit of everything. But, you know, that's my analogy for Darius. Those 3 mixed up. But Gresham himself is not the biggest guy in the world, but right now he's super jacked and he can tie anybody up. He can tie anybody in a pretzel. So I can't wait to see those guys tie up. That's what you'll expect from those two. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one more out there, Flowers, and I'll let you have it, man.
Got it.
Now I look these guys up. I know who they are now, but
Okay.
before when you first announced the match, I was like, who are these two? Kevin Knight and ASE. I think I'm saying that correctly. What can we expect for that particular match?
So Kevin Knight is a former athlete who found pro wrestling by being recommended to the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo in LA. So Kevin was not a lifelong fan, but he was immediately good at it because he's a hell of an athlete. Kevin has jumped through the New Japan Dojo hoops. I mean, not hoops, but training, I guess, as a young lion, and has catapulted his way into almost like, a very quick career. He's been an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. Oh, wow. He has been the best of Super Juniors a couple times at this point. He is accomplished. Kushida is one of his tag team partners. Kushida was his mentor, actually. So was Shibata. Shibata trained Kevin Knight. So Kevin Knight is very accomplished, world traveled, always back and forth between here and Japan. And he's, a good friend of mine. He's going to be joining us, and expect a lot of high flying from this guy. A lot of jumping, a lot of leaping ability. The dude can clear the top rope in a single bound. He's amazing, but that's not what he's all about. He can also wrestle his ass off. So that's what you can expect from Kevin Knight. ASE, frontman Ja from Minneapolis. Man, he is entertainment, lightning in a bottle. Both of those. Like when I think of ASE, I think the same thing people had that feeling, the feeling people had about Dolph Ziggler in 2011, 2012. Oh, wow. Okay. That's how I feel about frontman Ja. He has it. He's it personified. And once he grabs a mic, you automatically get on page with this guy. And he's also very skilled in the ring, trained by Seth Rollins at the Brave and I think Black and Brave Academy, I believe. He went to Iowa up there and did that training. Immense talent, and I can't wait to see them both collide. ASE's waiting to break out. He's just ready for his moment, and I want to be able to help him do that.
Come on, December the 1st. yeah. Come on, December. Sha, what you got, man? What matches you want?
The matches that I'm looking forward to: Trisha Adora versus Aja Kong. Well, listen, okay, I'm one of these pro wrestling, snob niggas. So Aja Kong, let's how do we come to how do we get Aja Kong? First event, that's a home run. Thank
you.
Yeah.
You don't have her number?
I don't have her number.
I thought everyone was.
I don't have a number.
No. She well, it was just a knowing who to call. But also the vision that I've had is a shared vision amongst my community. And when people believe in what you're trying to do and they get what you're trying to do, it's a lot easier path. It's not such a resistant path. And thankfully, ASE is all about helping people do what they want to do. So in the spirit, things just kind of fell into place. Saying ASE is truth to power. I think it just kind of fell in my lap the most beautiful way it could. Yeah. I'm just happy she's joining us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a banger.
That's gonna be a banger. So crazy. Next match we have Team Georgia, Team North Carolina on night. Trevor, Aeon.
Wait, hold on. Do you want me to go into why Trish and Aja is going to be great?
I apologize, please.
I would like that. Yes, I
apologize. Go ahead, my bad.
Because I didn't want to undersell. That's my main event.
Fault.
I got to get bread and butter. Aja is a Joshi legend. She is a Japanese wrestling legend. She is a mixed race descent. Was in Japan, and she found her way to wrestling because she was bullied as a child. But now, I mean, throughout those years, past with 37 years of wrestling, she's corrected that path and has made hell for everybody. She's been a multi-time world champion. She is will batter you, will suplex you, will pick you up and down and power drive you, will fight you all around the arena. And this woman, is a vet, is an elder statesman of the sport, but she's still got a lot to give. She's still got it. And Trish, former military veteran, former Pan-African World Diaspora Wrestling Champion, the first. Ranking in at over 1,300 days, beating me to win the title. Trish is one of the toughest women I've ever met, one of the kindest women I've ever met, one of the best wrestlers I've ever met. Honestly, taking those intangibles out, Trish is accomplished. She's well on her way. She's been to Japan. She's been to Mexico. She's been to Canada. She's wrestled all over the world. She's just finished graduating with the New Japan Dojo herself, re-educating herself. She's always retraining. She was trained by the Dudley Boys, first of all. That's just, Team 3D trained her. So she was already, destined for greatness. But she is strong as they come and will knock somebody's head out with that clothesline that she calls Lariat Tubman. She will, and she'll tap you out too. So this is kind of a recreation or a kind of a callback to some of Aja's greatest bouts, which were against smaller opponents, smaller but strong and tough opponents. So this will feel very 90s Joshi probably to those who are like purists like yourself, like you say.
Let's actually walk us through Team Georgia, and we have Team North Carolina.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite matches on the card. So this is Suge. First of all, Suge D is leading Team Georgia. Suge D is the current Pan-African World Diaspora Wrestling Champion. Excuse me. Sorry, I apologize. Only the second one. And he's already, doing some good stuff. Already got some defenses under his belt. But this will be Ashe's introduction to the World Championship, because the Pan-African World title is a world title recognized, and we're going to elevate and hold that title. So Suge, this will be his introduction to a lot of new people. And he has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, the Pan-African World Champion, doing that, especially leading Team Georgia. This is an 8-man tag match, which means 4 versus 4. So all 4 men are coming, repping their sets, repping their states, trying to make sure this is happening. So also on Suge's team is Owen Knight, Trevor Aon. Owen Knight is the working team captain, hard worker, little bit full of himself. He can get the team captain thing is self-appointed, but he's a very talented guy. His Christmas is amazing. He's influenced by people like Edge and things like that. You'll see it in his work. He's very good. They're also joined by Ashton Starr, who is just a novelty. They're I like to call them another LGBTQ icon. They're influenced by Alicia Fox. They have this scissor kick that's amazing. One of the most athletic people I've seen in pro wrestling. Ashton Starr, who has a real knack for fashion. They're sort of a kind of a fashionista, and I think you'll see that there in the match too. And Trevor Aon, who is he says that apparently he went to hell one time and kicked the devil's ass, and now he's the new devil, and the hell is a black-owned business. That's what he told me.
Shit.
All right,
I love it.
It is, yeah. So Hell LC, Trevor Aon, he'll be there on Team Georgia, rounding him out, and that is a little bit of taste of everybody. We have a little bit of everyone from every walk of life. Black guy, black this, black this. So I think it's really cool. Team Georgia is really diverse. And on the other side, Team North Carolina, we've got the gifted one, Yaya, who's a champion up in New York, Battle Club Pro. This guy is like Shelton Benjamin and Willie Mack had a baby, man.
For sure.
Yaya wrestle, it's like nothing else. You'll understand why he's so special, why he called himself the gifted one. Movie Mike is the filmmaker. I haven't seen one of the films yet, but I see a lot of his posts online, and he does some good work. And I've seen Movie Mike work, turn himself into one of the hardest working pro wrestlers I've seen in a long time. And his dedication to being better every single time is going to be amazing. But he's also one of the most charismatic and silly people I've ever seen in pro wrestling, and I hope that translates well to the audience. Also joining them, Ian Maxwell, fast as hell. Ian Maxwell. Former track star in his back in in his high school days, and he just kept running and he keeps moving and he's still fast as hell. One of the fastest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. One of the most athletic people on the roster. Ian's going to be great. And Rayhan Inteas, 6'7", big man, puts you down in the dirt, but also will make you laugh as well. He's one of the most charismatic people I know, in my personal life as well as my wrestling life, and I can't wait to see him break out during this as well. This is a vehicle for. Suge is kind of accomplished. He's kind of known. Suge D, the Pan-African World Champion. He is a world champion. But it is a vehicle for the rest of these personalities to kind of be introduced to more people and to take this platform and soar. And I just wanted to be able to help them do that because they're all just ready. They're ready to showcase what they can do, and they're immense talents. So yeah, that this is a backdoor pilot for 7 different personalities, and I hope you guys will enjoy them.
This if you don't have your tickets yet, guys, I need you to go ahead.
There's no reason you should. No reason you should not have your tickets right now. Zero reason.
Right. Zero reason. Before we let Darius go, Mr. Flowers had 2 additional questions. We're gonna let you get these questions off real quick. Man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm gonna sit back and let you do your thing, King.
Listen, I think there's a point that we can. Like, hell is a black-owned business. Like, that's something we have to revisit that. That's actually
We will.
That's a bar. We can talk about that. So yeah, my two extra questions. My two extra questions for you. If you could have a fantasy wrestling match take place in any location, where would it take place, and who would be your opponent?
Me and The Rock on the moon.
Are you aware of the gravity
I'll just say,
of the moon?
No. I think I'd wrestle The Rock at ASE. We'll do that. But
I'd
always also have to be wrestling at that point in time. So we'll see. But I would like to see. I don't know if any point in time, anybody, anywhere, me versus them necessarily. Yeah, I think me and Dwayne at ASE. If the people's champion
on the moon, got it.
You know? Well, no, not Whitey's on the moon. You know what? We don't do that.
Listen, man. See?
I was just, I threw the joke out there earlier, but you caught me. Yeah, no,
for
we'll,
sure.
We'll be right in Charlotte. The Rock's got to come down to Charlotte. People's champion. You got to come down to Charlotte, Rocky, and we'll do it. At
see the real people, Rocky.
Yeah.
I'm on Darius' team. Dwayne. No, I'm kidding. Lastly, if you had a wrestling themed meal named after you, what would the dishes include?
Well, I don't eat steak or pork. I eat so much chicken. So it has to have chicken involved, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, for sure.
And I love French fries. So something along chicken and French fries we're going to put there. Okay. I'm a simple guy. I've eaten a lot of strange things. I'm a sushi guy. I had ostrich earlier this year. I'm experimental when I want to be, but I know what I like, and when it's time to just chill, you can't go wrong.
Chicken and fries, no.
I love pasta too. Maybe pasta. Maybe that will be a Darius Lockhart meal. That's also sorry to cheapen the answer there by throwing another answer.
Can we have like a revolutionary name for said meal?
Oh, I don't. The people's like I don't know. I don't know. That's off the top of my head. I didn't come prepared with that. Don't quote me. We'll see.
I like that. Well, listen, man, we really appreciate your time. We really appreciate what you're doing for the culture, man.
For sure, 100%.
We're in South Carolina. We're upstate South Carolina, so a drive to Charlotte is nothing for us. And we chase PWX all over. I mean, so we really appreciate you having something in North Carolina. We appreciate you restoring the feeling, because I've missed driving up watching good wrestling shows in North Carolina. So we thank you for that. We thank you for your career. We thank you for all of the matches that we've seen, all the merch that we've bought. Those Jackie Robinson Revolutionary, that's a fucking amazing. It's like my favorite thing ever. It's my favorite thing ever. Shy, any last words? I'm fanning out right now.
It's all good. I was gonna let you have it, man. No, it was an honor talking to you. We're down to support anything you got going on. December 1st, North Carolina. We will be there in the building. Champions Row Wrestling Podcast. First row. Come say hi to anybody. But yeah, man, I'm excited.
I got you. Thank you, man. I'll give y'all a shout out there too. I can't wait to see you guys out there, and thank you for the support, man. It really, it's the love is truly felt, and I don't want to ever underserve it. I don't want to ever just let you think I'm not appreciative of it. I really do appreciate y'all, and I'm glad to do y'all show. Thank you very much for having me.
No, for sure.
If you guys haven't bought the tickets, you see the links below. Click the links. Follow on social media. They're giving away a PlayStation 5 as well. So make sure you follow them on social media.
I need that PS5.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that, so I could have had a better chance of winning.
No. The key is to tell everybody you can, so we can get more. Because I'm not giving it away till we get 12,000 subscribers.
Say that.
1,200. I apologize.
1,200 on YouTube.
1,200 subscribers. We're right on the cusp of 600. We're halfway there. I'm willing to get it. We just got to get more people to the site to subscribe. It's so funny. We have followers, 1,000 followers on Twitter, 1,000 followers on Instagram. But we can't get the subscribers. I don't know. We're trying to do it.
We'll figure it out. I'm gonna give you a tip.
I'm gonna give you
a tip. Yeah. When people show up at the show, just have a computer set up and tell them, hey, log in and subscribe. Log in and subscribe.
Look, QR code.
Like
Come on, man.
Like that. We won't let you in the building until you subscribe.
There we go.
Simple as that. But listen, thank you guys for watching. It's the Champs Row, Keiz Ali. Oh yeah, we can do that. We can talk about it.
It's a marketing job. It's a little chopped up. Don't worry about it. You go ahead.
It's Keiz Ali, Mr. Flowers, the Revolutionary Darius Lockhart, Champs Row, and we out.
Peace.
Thank you.